Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Wedding season is starting pretty much now, so there's a lot of job opportunity of being a second photographer. But if you all do not stop doing these 5 things, you're not going to continue to get hired. Starting off with number 1, showing up late or canceling at the last minute. I cannot tell you how many times I've had a second photographer cancel on me the day before when I need them to show up. It is the absolute worst thing to do and will get you blacklisted almost immediately, especially when I scheduled with you like a month or two, even more out. And then the day before you got a call out like, oh, sorry, I can't come. Just do not do that under any circumstances. And if for some reason there's an emergency and you are canceling the day before, have someone else signed up. Go to your main photographer like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm terribly sorry. However, here's another photographer who's going to be showing up in my stead. Make it easy for the main photographer. We're hiring you because we need you on the wedding day, not so you can show up and get photos for your portfolio. So the main thing you need to be focusing on is making it easy for the main photographer. Also, showing up late just looks bad. I've started my day. I'm here already. I'm taking photos. I expected you to be there. You're not there. People are asking me about it now because they paid for a second photographer, and then you just show up like, oh, hey, time to take pictures. No, it makes me, the main photographer, look bad. So make sure you all are not showing up late or canceling at the last minute. Really, if you want to be bad-mouthed by all the main photographers, do this one time and no one's going to hire you anymore. Number 2 is not asking for direction from the main photographer. As a second photographer, a lot of times you'll show up and feel like you know what you're doing and then just start taking photos. But again, as a second, you're there to support the main photographer. This is not about you. It's not about your photography career. It's not about your portfolio. It's about learning the ropes from a main photographer and supporting their business for what they need on that wedding day. So you should always ask what they need. Ask how you should be shooting, what you should be shooting. If they want you to shoot longer or wider or tight or just whatever, what should you focus on? Ask these questions. These questions may seem a little random, but this is the kind of stuff that makes the difference between a second photographer who's just there and a second photographer I'm gonna call back every single time. Like one of my second photographers, she shoots vertical all the time. So I know that my mainly horizontal style shooting is gonna be beefed up with her photos as well. It's that kind of stuff. Do you want me to shoot horizontal or vertical? Do you want me to shoot both? Do you want me to shoot details? What do you want from me as a second photographer? Asking this up front and getting used to what the main photographer likes and wants makes a huge difference. Again, being a second photographer is not about you and the photos you want to take, it's about supporting your main photographer. Obviously, you can get photos in that you would like to have also, but make sure you're taking care of that main photographer because not only are you gaining experience, but they're paying you as well. So this is a great opportunity for you to not only see how a photographer works, learn from them, and get paid and get portfolio pictures. Like, it's a great opportunity. So just make sure you're asking them what it is that they want on the wedding day. Now, getting hired as a second photographer can be hard. However, if you make yourself a second photographer page on your website, this is going to go a long way of showing off you as a second photographer. And the best way to do that is going to be with this video sponsor, Squarespace. As a wedding photographer, keep in mind you're not just a photographer, you're running a business. And having a website is going to make you look that much more legit. Squarespace makes it easy to build your own website with their amazing templates and building tools where you can easily make a beautiful website in a matter of hours. Again, my website has been on Squarespace for over 11 years now, and I've updated multiple times, and it has been very easy for me to change up anything on my website. On top of that, they have so many powerful tools built into Squarespace that is really going to help you and your business out. You have analytics to see where people are coming from. You have commerce if you want to sell digital or physical products. Squarespace payments so you can manage your payments right on Squarespace. And also email lists and marketing. So if you want to collect the emails of all your couples and still send them emails down the road, you can do that all right on Squarespace. So make sure to use the link in the description below to sign up for Squarespace and get 10% off of your website or domain. Build yourself a second photographer page so you can show it to potential main photographers looking to hire you. Number 3 is going to be over speaking the lead photographer. I've had this happen a couple of times, but as a second photographer, don't talk too much about what's happening on the wedding day. Sometimes second photographers can be a little too chatty, and when couples ask questions or different guests need things, they say a little bit too much, promise too much, or talk about things that the main photographer does not do. This can be the absolute worst because you can turn a nice situation into the worst wedding day because you mentioned how we could take a certain photo, but maybe the main photographer normally doesn't take those photos, or it was just a bad idea overall, or we didn't have time for it. But now all of a sudden, the couple expects it because someone said it and they're part of the photography team. It's the absolute worst. Just watch what it is you're talking about in the comments you're making. And if the couple or guest have any questions that's outside of your scope, lead them over to the main photographer. Don't just try to answer it so you can, like, yeah, I took care of that. Like, don't, because you'll go back to the main. They'll be like, oh, actually, yeah, like, that's not what we're gonna do. We don't have time for that. It's like, oh, well, I told them that we were. No, please don't do that. Like, I've had it happen many a time. Actually, I had a couple who was upset about something because someone made a comment about a thing that we didn't have time to do and was already missed, and it was late in the day. And it's like, oh, we didn't do this shot. And it's like, we would have been fine. Sometimes problems don't happen if you don't bring them up. But the moment someone points out the thing that was missed or didn't happen, now all of a sudden it's an issue. So again, if you're a second photographer, watch your mouth. Keep it to just light comments, answering simple questions, and direct everything back to the lead photographer when needed. Number 4 is not handing out business cards. Do not hand out your personal business cards when you're second shooting. The main photographer is the main photographer for that wedding. They're looking to get more work from any couples who need help or see them working. So when they ask for a business card, don't just hand them yours. See if you can find the business card for the main photographer. Or even better, at the beginning of the wedding day, ask the main photographer if they have any business cards on them and take them so that when someone asks you, you can hand that business card. Now, there are cases where you could possibly hand out your own business card, but first off, you need to make sure you ask the main photographer about that. So, for example, I've second shot for photographers here in North Carolina who are not from North Carolina. So, when the planner or the couple or the guest asks for a business card, the main photographer is like, yeah, you can give out your business card because I'm not trying to come down here unless someone hires me specifically for it. So, it's kind of whatever. So, in that case, it's okay. But again, we established that between me and the main photographer, not just me being out there like, here are my business cards. Yeah. Basically, don't try to like come up under the main photographer and get work without them knowing. So again, I would highly recommend at the beginning of the day asking the main photographer if they have any business cards that you can hold on to so you can pass those out for them. And honestly, just asking that alone is going to go a long way because in my 11 years of being a wedding photographer, I have never in my life had a second ask me for business cards that they can hand out for me. That would be amazing. I would immediately be like, oh, wow, look at you. And number 5, do not post photos without the main photographer's permission. Now, when it comes to being a second photographer, sometimes the main will not allow you to use the photos. Now, to me, in my personal opinion, that's a little extra. However, I don't like it when my second photographer takes photos and then immediately starts posting things before I even had a chance to post previews or deliver the photos to my couples. Generally, you want to wait for the main photographer to deliver those photos to the couple so that they can get the photos and in the main photographer's editing style. So wait for a while before you start posting things, and then also ask them if it's okay to post. I've had multiple second photographers who do this, and it's amazing every time to see them come through like, hey, is it okay if I post this stuff? Yeah, it's fine. I've already delivered the photos. It's good. Post wherever you want to. It's whatever. And that's how you can build your portfolio by making sure that you're respecting the main photographer and not just jumping in there like, I'm trying to get photos because I don't have any weddings and this is going to be great. Don't do that. Make sure you're always asking first and foremost before you start posting things, and wait a while. Don't post it before the main photographer has started delivering the photos because worst case scenario, the couple sees the second's photos and likes the editing style better, and now it's a whole ordeal. It's just not a situation you want to be in. Again, being a second photographer is extremely important, and knowing how a wedding day works is helpful. But if you want to virtually be a second photographer and follow me along on a full wedding day, you can check out my full wedding day playlist over here so you can see how a whole wedding day is ran. And I will catch you all next time.